hopefully he's got a better plan for this one, or poor Aaron Zheng could be out of the tournament in the top 4.
Yeah, going to be a very tough matchup. Looks like Toler has a better handle on this. Pretty much showing why Toler won in that Swiss matchup. So Toler choosing if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Politoed and Aegislash up against Aaron, who is going to make a little bit of an adjustment, sending out that Wash Rotom and his Aegislash. I like the addition of the Wash Rotom on Aaron's side, especially if you know that Toler is going to want to bring that Politoed.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if he just guessed wrong on the Pokemon in the previous game, but Rotom's definitely something that would have helped him against most of what Toler brought, and makes this lead a lot more positive for him. Obviously, Politoed doesn't want to play against Rotom here, and getting a burn on the enemy Aegislash before it gets a substitute up could be a big deal for Aaron as well. So kind of regardless of what he wants to do here, he's in pretty good position. It also makes things a little bit safer for his own Aegislash, where the enemy Aegislash is something to think about this time. Not quite as safe as it was before, but still going on the offensive.
Yeah, Toler just wants to stay offensive, uses that helping hand on his own, while Aaron is going to protect his Aegislash. So we'll have to see if he made the correct adjustment. Thunderbolt on Aaron's Rotom Wash onto the Aegislash, dealing a little bit of damage before Aegislash can get off an attack. Shadow Ball into the King Shield. So Aaron actually comes out a little bit on top that first turn. Obviously, it's not a huge amount of damage, but considering how poorly the last game went for Aaron, I would call that a win.
Yeah, I mean, he has that Aegislash stuck in Blade form now too, which isn't the worst thing in the world. This makes this next turn easier for him, though I still have to worry about the same play now that his King Shield is down. I was a little bit surprised to see that Thunderbolt there. Hydro Pump would have done more damage to Aegislash if it had stayed in, or Will-O-Wisp would definitely gradually do more, so most likely anticipating a switch there. So not a great play by either side, but neither side really loses too much either, other than that King Shield being down on Aaron's side actually is probably worth more than the damage on the enemy Aegislash.
We'll have to see if it is indeed worth more than the damage. Obviously, Politoed and Aegislash. Politoed hasn't been putting out that much offensive pressure, just helping Toler's Aegislash do what it does best. Aaron going to switch out his Aegislash for Tyranitar, going to bring the Tyranitar on the field. Feels a lot more comfortable having it on the field after the end of that last match, with Toler's Aegislash being a little bit less effective against that Tyranitar. Toler going to defend his Aegislash with the King Shield of his own. We'll have to see if Rotom is going to go on the offensive against the Politoed. No, it is not. Going to go back onto Toler's Aegislash, while Scald is going to connect with the Tyranitar. Is it going to get the burn? Yes! Tyranitar, that Scarf Tyranitar, now burnt.
Yeah, that's definitely going to make things a little worse for Aaron here. At least he does potentially have some special attacks to choose from. I think we've only seen Ice Beam, but again, that's kind of the problem with the King Shield on Aaron's side being blown the previous turn. He was afraid of taking another Shadow Ball, so he took that switch, and it's tough. Politoed read that very well, wasn't afraid of the Thunderbolt from Rotom, and that's kind of just one problem, I guess. Not really a problem, a weakness of the more defensive Rotom, that it's not like you're threatening a big Thunderbolt that's going to knock the Politoed out in a single hit, so it can be a little bit more cheeky than most Pokemon can, staring down a super effective opponent.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more cheeky indeed, as Landorus switches in for that Tyranitar on Aaron's side. Toler going to switch his Politoed out in favor of Gardevoir, so Gardevoir making an appearance now. Toler won that first set without Gardevoir, so we'll have to see if it helps at all this game. Aaron going to protect with his Wash Rotom, while Toler gets up a substitute alongside the Gardevoir. So getting that substitute up for his Aegislash, we saw how effective that was last game. He gets the switch in for Gardevoir, and he gets a substitute up in favor of Aaron getting in his Landorus.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up for the free switch there. The Wash Rotom not especially effective against either of these Pokemon. Gardevoir has a pretty impressive special defense score, and Rotom already proving not to be the most offensive Pokemon in the world. Landorus not in a bad position here with its Sand active to do a little bit more with its attacks thanks to its ability, but Gardevoir's probably going to get off a Hyper Voice here. Aegislash safe behind a substitute. There's a lot of threatening damage potentially coming from Toler's side of the field. Aaron desperately needs to make a play quickly to get control of this match, because he's losing it once again.
Yeah, definitely needs to make a play now. You can see he's taking the full advantage of his move time. Does not want to mess up on this turn. Aegislash behind that substitute, staring down Landorus and Wash Rotom. Gardevoir just switched out onto the field, going to Mega Evolve. Toler can taste the finals. Gardevoir is going to put on her best dress in preparation for making it to the finals of Nationals here. Earth Power comes out from Landorus onto the Aegislash, so going to break the substitute. We'll have to see if Aaron's going to be able to deal any damage to it after the substitute fades. That Aegislash still in its shield form, so going to be taking reduced damage, but not going to take any damage actually, because Wash Rotom will target the Gardevoir. Hyper Voice coming out, dealing some good damage to both Pokemon on Aaron's side. Rotom going to heal up a little bit with that Citrus Berry. Aegislash now going on the offensive, switching over to its Blade form. Shadow Ball coming out from the Aegislash. Toler trying to make a big play here. Shadow Ball onto Rotom. Rotom hangs on, gets the special defense drop, but still is able to stick around for one more turn.
Yeah, should easily have both these Pokemon weakened enough that a Hyper Voice could knock them out now. I'm not sure if Gardevoir is weakened enough to be knocked out by an Earth Power now. I would expect it to be very close, but, you know...
In the sand, too.
Yeah, in the sand. I mean, I would probably expect that to be a knockout, if nothing else. Since they've played, this is the 5th game between them, or possibly the 4th, I guess, if it was a 2-0 the first time. I'd expect the players know, but we don't have quite the same information.
Well, Wash Rotom switches out for Aegislash. Toler's Aegislash switches out for Politoed, getting rid of the sand there. Smart play by Toler, making sure that Aaron can't deal as much damage as he wants to with that sand-boosted Earth Power. Going to come down to this Landorus. Earth Power is going to connect onto the Politoed, so just trying to get damage on anything that's not Mega Gardevoir. Hyper Voice from Gardevoir will be able to pick up the KO on Landorus and deal just a little bit of chip damage to that Aegislash. So Aaron decided not to go with the damage roll, probably knew that Politoed was going to come in and cut down on his sand power. So just switched on the Aegislash and sacrificed that Landorus.
Potentially a wise move. You know, getting that damage in Politoed could get it weakened enough now that Rotom, if it's able to get the chance, could knock it out with a Thunderbolt. His own Aegislash is a great check for that Gardevoir. I'll take a little bit more damage than the average Aegislash would, just because it's such an offensively trained version of Aegislash. But things could still work out because of that one. You know, I think it's a much bigger trade-off if he misses that Earth Power KO, takes all that damage, and then ends up in a situation where Aegislash could have knocked out Gardevoir by a mile anyway, so there was no point in weakening it. So sometimes you got to take what you're given. But again, Aaron looking like he's in trouble here. He's got maybe 2 more turns to find something to turn this around before it's a little too far gone.
Yeah, he's down a Pokemon. That Wash Rotom is just barely hanging on. Gardevoir going first, using the Psychic onto Wash Rotom. Easy KO there. Toler takes another Pokemon advantage. Will this Aegislash be able to hang on? Politoed in the rain, scalding the shield, dealing not that much damage, but gets the burn. That's going to be really devastating, adding up the Life Orb plus the burn damage. Blade form for Aegislash, Shadow Ball coming out. Will be able to pick up a KO here onto Politoed. Just barely. Politoed will faint, so that leaves Gardevoir open. Aaron just sort of ignoring that Pokemon, loses some of its HP to the Life Orb and the burn, and that's a whole lot of damage that's just sort of incidental that Aegislash just took.
Yeah, it's going to have a hard time avoiding that too. That burn's going to keep ticking. It probably, at best, has 1 more attack left in this game, and it's going to be hard to actually find a chance to get it because Gardevoir could be threatening that Hyper Voice. Even if Aegislash has Wide Guard now, it's going to be stalling out its own health with that burn. Burn Tyranitar returning to the battle. A Scald seeming just incredible at burning things this weekend for some reason. And wow, the tournament of Aaron Zheng looks like it's about to be over here. 2 burn Pokemon are all he has left in his tournament run.
Yeah, both burn Pokemon on Aaron's side. This will be it. It's, you know, make or break for Aaron Zheng's Nationals run here. Toler may just be able to take this away with a clean 2-0 sweep, only dropping 1 Pokemon so far in this game. You can see the pressure weighing down on both of their faces. Actually, Wide Guard coming out from Toler's Aegislash does not want to be taking any Rock Slides, but Aaron showing that special Tyranitar. Ice Beam onto Gardevoir, gets the freeze! Gets the freeze! Gardevoir is frozen solid. Just about the only move that Aaron could have made that might have helped him out here. Shadow Ball onto Toler's Aegislash, picks up a KO! And of course, that Life Orb and Burn. It's going to be a little bit of a tempered celebration for Aaron, but that should not have happened. Like, this turn just got crazy. Yeah,
I mean, that was exactly the right play for Aaron, though. That's the only thing that he could have done with Tyranitar that would give him a chance to win the game.
Yep.
We do see Aegislash going down here, so Aaron's certainly not out of the water yet, but, you know, that low percentage chance of the freeze, it's still the only thing he could have done there to avoid just, you know, taking a Hyper Voice and being knocked out.
Yep, well now it's a burnt Tyranitar up against a frozen Gardevoir and a full health Thundurus. So Thundurus won't be able to paralyze the Tyranitar. Has to hope for another freeze here. Ice Beam comes out from Aaron's Tyranitar. Not going to pick up the freeze here. Thunderbolt from that Thundurus onto Tyranitar. You know, you can see Toler's probably wiping a little bit of the sweat from his brow because that was way too close. But Toler is going to take Game 2 over Aaron Zheng. 2-0 victory, moving on to the finals of the National Championships here.
Great play by Toler there. A really impressive win. Almost impressive,